So, in this 2020 journey, I promise to be a little bit more transparent and a little bit more active with you guys, and I'm doing just that, holding myself accountable. And today I am bringing my handy dandy binder, pink binder with me, and I'm going to explain that this is the most important book in my life. This is the most important book that has built my brand, my company. This book has made me more money per lifetime than most others, and I'll tell you how I actually developed this particular binder. So let me talk to those of you who go to work, you have a regular job, you're struggling with a job and a dream at the same time. The dream seems to want to win, but the job is mandatory because you have things called bills. It's true. And you see yourself being in a different capacity, but you're going to this job every single day. And you're kind of looking at it and you're saying you want more out of life. But the unfortunate reality is you're getting stuck because of your obligations. But now you keep hearing everybody say, jump, leap, jump out on faith, step out on faith, go do your own thing. And you're thinking about doing it. But I'm here to warn you, before you go into entrepreneurship, I want to give you some tools to succeed so that when you decide to actually take the leap, when you feel confident enough and supported enough to take the leap, that you don't ever have to go back and reapply for another job. This is the binder that I left corporate America with. Everything in this binder, that is in this binder, boy, I'd love to show it to you and be a little bit more open, but everything in this binder has taught me everything I needed to know about entrepreneurship in my own regard. I too was in corporate America until 2003. When I left corporate America, the job that I left before I left corporate America was a job that downsized. But before I did that, I was already in law school. I was doing my own thing. I was kind of proposing myself to be a lawyer. I knew I wasn't going to be, but I didn't know how to announce it to myself because I had to accept it, that was not what I was built to do. But it's hard to say that because it's such a high power career. It's like hard to say that, like, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore, but what do I really want to do? And I didn't know. At that time, I was working in a law firm where we were working in a general litigation practice, and we were working with some of the largest corporations in the world. Like, many of you either have these people's cards in your wallet, you watch their commercials, or you shop at their stores. I worked for a major conglomerate that represented some of the biggest companies in the world. And my job in a paralegal capacity at that time was to ensure that everything went from A to B every single day. So whether it was compliance issues, subpoena issues, family issues, I had to make sure all those things were taken care of. So before I left corporate America, before I left law firm America, because corporate America was a little bit of a different experience. Before I left law firm America, I worked in this firm where there were a lot of celebrities, a lot of specifically political, influential people walking through this particular firm. And you didn't see them as celebrities because at that time it was like, okay, well, such and such is just here, or such and such is just here. Oh, wait, they're filming this on this channel here. Why? Okay, I just happen to work here. So you learn how to mute that out. But my thing was, if I'm going to be here 8 hours a day, sometimes 12, depending on the day, I'm going to make this thing work for me. I'm going to make this particular company and this particular firm my employee. So every day, I never went to this job with a dead-end mindset. I never went there complaining, because I think what happens with entrepreneurial mindset people who have to go to a job every day, they go to work complaining because they don't realize it's the people they don't like. It is not the job. They don't hate the job itself. They hate the people that work at the job with them. It's a totally different mindset. I went there ignoring the people, and I knew I had to work with them, but I ignored them, and I focused on the relationships. And so now that I was realizing that these celebrities were going to be walking through this firm randomly, I'm telling you, big people. Can't give names because that firm is still in existence, but big people walking through this firm. You have their personal cell phone numbers. I'm going to make this firm work for me. Now, in a conflict of interest kind of capacity, you can't just be like, hey, I want to know you. Hey, let's talk. It wasn't like that. But I realized I had to build relationships with the people who were the gatekeepers to those relationships. So at that time, while I was building this particular binder, what was happening was I had this entrepreneurial dream. but I had this 9 to 5 day job. And this is 2002, 2003. So what I decided to do was, when I had free time during lunch, after work, before work sometimes, I would make photocopies of different types of things that I wanted to branch out on my own and do. And so family law was one of those things that I understood, because I'm from that community where family law and immigration law was a big issue, but it's very expensive, especially during that time before there was Homeland Security. This was a really confusing time where people would come into this country and not know what documents to fill out or where to go. And because I'm part of that community, I understand how people in the diaspora think. So I'm like, okay, let me master this thing. Let me master this thing, because now I see the relationships over here. Now I need to know how to do the paperwork. So I mastered the paperwork. So this whole binder is most of the paperwork that I learned how to master. I never went to work with a dead end mindset. I went in there saying, this is school. I'm taking these 8 hours to learn everything I need to learn and to master these relationships all day. Because what happens to entrepreneurs, especially today where everybody thinks they can go to YouTube University and Google School, they jump out on faith. And then what ends up happening is they are starting to swim and sink all at the same time, because there's a foundation in there they didn't put together, and they have no idea how to take it from the day they leave their job to the day that they make their first major 6-figure return. And I'm talking major beyond 250 and going up. And I knew that I did not have that kind of cushion. This is prior to social media. This is prior to a lot of things happening. So I had to have relationship collateral and education collateral. So what I did was I made photocopies of all of these papers, and I would consistently memorize how to do it. And then I took a proof of concept. I went out and met strangers, not my inner network, not people who knew me, but I went out into the community and I met strangers. And I said, for a low cost, take a chance on me. I'm now getting started. I understand family law, and I have a few people who can work with me. At that time, I had attorneys that I was very good friends with. And I said, if you guys kind of work with me a little bit so I can understand what I'm doing, because I'm not licensed yet, if I can work underneath you after work, then can you help me get this thing off the ground? And they gladly supported. So I went out into the community and I advertised. I took flyers, just regular flyers on regular paper, and I would hand them out to people or put them in restaurants. People would call, and I suddenly had this 5 to 9 business model that operated after 9 to 5. So I go to work from 9 to 5 to learn, and from 5 to 9 to earn every single day. I did this for over a year. Consistently, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to sharpen up my skills. So when I decided if I was going to leave this firm, I had more than enough to be able to leave and never have to come back again. And it just so happens that I consistently kept doing that to the point where I doubled my own salary in a matter of months, because all I did was it started at $200. So I would start with a $200 client, then work my way up to a $300 client, $400 client. And I worked my way up to the point where people were starting to refer me. It was to the point where people will wait in my driveway every single day for me to come home from work, because they knew I was the 5 to 9 girl. I would work from 5 to sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep, wake back up at 6 o'clock, go to work, and do this again and again and again and again. And it just so happens that about 18 months later, the next job was pulled from underneath me. And unlike many people who passed out when we were all kind of announced that our company was shutting down, I had more than enough reserves that I did not panic. And I got out, left corporate America. I even got a severance package too. Check that out. And I kept working that business, and that business never really failed. I was able to sell that, and that gave me some working capital to do other things. What I'm saying to you is, many of you are in a job right now. You may not like it. I understand that. But don't take the dead end mindset approach. Take my advice. Learn while you earn. Learn everything in this book. Every single page in this book, every single folder in this book are things that I took home every single day, mastered my skill. So when I got out there, I literally learned and earned at the same time. I had a client base. I had everything I needed. What happened today? Let me tell you why this is a huge issue today. People walk out of the job. They have no relationships. They build no brand equity. They have no referral system. And they think because they put up a website and they can actually get some branding person to actually put up a nice logo that, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur now. Yeah, come on in. And then as the silence rings, you're thinking, what do I need to do? It's because you went to work and you did your job. You remained silent. You remained invisible. You did what you had to do and you left on time. You did nothing in between there to even get yourself started in building relationships. One of the things that most entrepreneurs who are hopeful and go to work every day fail to do is build meaningful, productive, positive, and profitable relationships. Like I said, I was surrounded by celebrities. If I said some of these names, you'd be like, they were in your office? And my answer was yeah, because they were represented by this firm. But I knew if I built relationships with the gatekeepers to these people, when I stepped out, I would have more than enough to be able to make it work. And here's the thing, if you're not in a job right now that gives you that ability, maybe it's time to transition into a job that can give you that kind of access. Stay there for a little while, build up that relationship equity, and then when you're able to, and after you've built up enough sharpening of your own skills, because you got to test the market before you get into the market, then when you leave corporate America, you never have to turn back. I'm telling you, the journey to entrepreneurship is scary. It is. It's not for the faint at heart, but it's not for those who don't practice, because your potential customers and clients know when you haven't sharpened your skills. Your potential clients and customers know you're taking a gamble on something that means something to them, whether it's their business, their life, their finances, their taxes. They know you're taking a gamble on them when you come and you say, I don't have any experience. I just started my business on Friday. Like, okay, so you started your business Friday and it's Wednesday? Wow, you think you're an expert that quick? Like, you haven't tested anything. So I want you to use your job today before you transition. This is a message for those of you who are at a job. You're an employee with an entrepreneurial mindset. You keep kind of coming in and leaving and thinking. I'm here to tell you this. The foundation for being successful in entrepreneurship is relationships. Don't go to work and don't build relationships. And also, let me leave you with this. Don't build relationships within your comfort zone. Many of you, what you tend to do is you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to build relationships tomorrow. And you build it with your coworkers. They're not going to help you. That's not your target market. Build the relationships with the people who have access. Because what I did in this particular firm, every one of these cases is access. All of them were access. And those were the people who invested in me in the beginning, because those were my initial customers. My initial client base were people who gave me access because I had already had access because I was there during the day anyway. So I built relationships within that. You don't build relationships with the woman or man that's sitting next to you in the cubicle next to you, because a dead-end mindset plus a dead-end mindset equals a dead-end business. A dead-end mindset plus a dead-end opportunity equals a dead-end opportunity. But a growth mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset plus a gatekeeper equals opportunity. And I promise you, your business will 10x. But it's not going to 10x if you're going to sit there and be like, I hate this job. I hate these people. I can't wait to quit. I can't wait. You're doing all of that practicing about the day you quit. But you haven't done anything to build something on the outside so that the transition is easy. Do you know how many entrepreneurs on a daily basis inbox me with this, I'm still at my job, how can I make this work? But they got that dead-end mindset while they're at work. You're going to spend 8 hours a day at work and you really have a real dream? Then you've got to grow out of that. You got to see the opportunity in it. Don't just sit there for 8 hours. And if it's not a job that has access to opportunity, it's 2020. Get your new job, get access to opportunity, but just know what your end game is. Your end game is not to stay there for the rest of your life. Your end game is to build up enough relationships so you can walk out and never come back. And then in 3 years, I'm able to celebrate my 20-year anniversary. I have never gone back to corporate America. I think it was the best decision I ever made for myself. Yes, it's been scary at times. Yes, I went through the recession. Yes, I've been through some stuff. but I've never, ever been without, ever. And when I say without, I'm talking about we started that company and we did multiple six figures. I was able to sell it for six figures, and I was able to invest six figures. Like, I was able that this book, let me tell you something. This book has made me more money per capita than most other things combined. I learned so much from this book. I can't even explain. Like, these things don't even exist anymore. All this lost stuff and here's the Caribbean directory for Pennsylvania, New York, and Delaware. Like, I had to have all of this stuff so that I can be able to kind of grow my network. My thing is, do you have something you're building that has all the contacts for all the people you're ever going to need? And can you show them a proof of concept? Look, this is for entrepreneurial mindset people who currently go to a job. The transition is real. 2020, build a foundation for a productive decade moving forward. But let me tell you something. Don't step out until you have those relationships. See you soon.